Well, hello. Welcome to our shop. Well, I've said time and time again, things come in pairs in here, and I've actually have a pair of Gibson LGs in here. One is a LG 1 that's going to show up in another video, and this is a LG 0. I'm assuming this is about a 63 because of the exploding molded bridge and the molded screw-on pickguard. I will track the serial number later. As you can see, what we've got here, of course I've already disassembled this so we could look at it when the customer was here. Of course the original molded bridge has been destroyed. Replaced a lot of those. It tore up the top a little bit here. I've actually got a couple pieces of top taped down here that I found in the case. This was actually found underneath a bed. Someone drug it out and decided they wanted to sell it. So it's actually in pretty good shape considering. It does have this one inlay missing. The tuners and everything are in pretty good shape on it. It's not really been played a whole lot. But the big thing is back here. We've got some loose braces and stuff, and the bridge plate, of course, has got to be replaced. But the big thing is this damage right here. We have a lot of back damage here. And it's been a while. And these little pieces, you know, luckily everything's there. So we'll see what we can do about that. But like I say, it's gonna have the back repaired. It's got a lot of back braces loose. There's a few top braces loose. We're going to have to replace the bridge plate underneath the top, which is a large one again. I've actually already got this made for it. We're going to be replacing the original spruce bridge plate with a maple one again. And then we're going to have to make a bridge for it. So let's get it going. So you can see here, a lot of this is loose. Okay, we're loose down to here. This piece actually slides in and out like a drawer. This one almost does. So we're going to have to work some glue into this, line everything up, and glue it all in one shot. This ought to be a real treat. So I will not be filming anything when we do this for you, but I will show you what happens when we are done. I'm going to have my hands full here. I'm going to have to move very fast and be very busy. Well, we've got it clamped up. Everything's looking pretty good so far. This crack right through here is lined up really well on its own. And looking through the plexiglass, I can see where everything here is looking pretty good. So we'll unclamp this tomorrow and see what it looks like. For the meantime, it gets moved so I can work on something else. Well, we're out of the clamps. I've wiped this off, kind of cleaned up a little bit. It's not looking too bad. Did a little touch-up work here and there. And we're going to let that go. So for the time being, let's move back to the loose braces on the front, back, and get this bridge plate out of this thing. Well, it's been about another half hour here. You can see we have the bridge plate out. Point out to you here, you can see how it wasn't glued very well to start with, down this area and down the back, over in this corner. right through here. So it came out a little easier than expected. Of course, we still have the top damage here to deal with. I say these are the two pieces I found in his case. Luckily, they weren't lost when a bridge had blown off of it. So we're going to start patching holes in the top here. I have my little hole plugs I'm going to use to plug these 4 holes before we go any farther. You see we have our little plugs in, and we've also re-glued the 2 little pieces here we found in the case. Luckily they were lost, like I said. So we're ready to get this bridge plate in. So let's get it glued in and clamped up, and then we can walk away from this for the day. And there we go. All glued up for the night. Night night, little guitar. Well, we're back in here working on this LG O. We've got the top all repaired. We're ready to start some touch-up work on it. We also have the bridge off the side here that we're starting to make. I brought it back over from the home shop this morning. But we're going to start doing some touch-ups here to get this taken care of. We've got a lot of damage here where the bridge had slid. And if we don't fix it now, it's going to get worse later. So we're going to take care of that. Then we're going to move on to start shaping our bridge. And here we go. I roughed this bridge out, like I said, at the home shop. Brought it over here, and we're going to get it rolling, get it finished up. Get it ready to glue on. We've got lots of handwork here to do. I'm going to finish shaping this bridge, then put it in my little jig that I've made and route the bridge saddle slot. And then this little guy will be ready to glue on. Well, that took about an hour. We have our bridge all roughed in. We'll get it off this block, get the bottom of it cleaned up, and get it on our little router table, and we'll get it ready to route the bridge slot. We're going to try to use, just to be cool, we're going to try to use the original micarta bridge saddle. We'll see how that works out for me. Our touch-up work is all finished underneath the tape here, and we've got it taped back off, ready to clean up the bridge pad here. We're going to get all this finish off the bridge pad and get that ready to accept glue. Once we get that cleaned up, then we're going to fit the bridge, carve it to match the top, and get it glued on. We have our bridge, speaking of it, right here. So we're ready to roll. Let's make some more dust. Well, the bridge pad is all clean. I gotta say, that's the fastest one of these have ever cleaned up for me. That's a record. Look at that, less than 15 minutes. This had a very thin finish on it, probably just a couple coats of lacquer, and it was all dry and chipped really easy and just flaked off. So it's easy to get that cleaned up. You can see where all our little patches are here. So let's get this bridge fitted. Bridge is glued on. That took a little time. Actually, I've got about an hour and 15 minutes in this, including the 15 minutes it took to clean the bridge pad. It actually took more time to, took about an hour to fit that bridge and then get it glued. But I've got a great fit to this top. So we're going to put this aside for a little while. It's got to stay in these clamps for at least 24 hours, and I like longer. We'll be back. The bridge is on. Clamps are off. I spent about 45 minutes here, drilling out the bridge pin holes and chamfering the holes. So we still can't string this up yet. So I'm going to move on to doing a few other things. But this part of it is almost done. Basically all I have to do at this point is mask off around this bridge, finish sanding the bridge, get some finish on it. In the meantime, I'm going to move up here. We've got some fret issues. We'll get those taken care of. I've already rough leveled those. So we're moving along here. Well, we have the fretwork finished. Had to do some serious leveling there. So that end is finished. Come back here. We have our first coat of finish on the bridge soaking in. So we're going to give that about an hour and follow it up with another coat and wipe it off. Let it dry overnight, sand it, give it another coat, sand it, give it another coat. So it's on its way too. Time for some lunch. So I strung this guitar up briefly to see what kind of condition everything was in. Then I adjusted the neck properly, and when fretting the high E string and the low E string both at the first fret, that way the nut's not in the way when I'm doing measurements for the bridge, the string height at the 12th fret was 8/64 of an inch on the treble side and 9/64 on the bass side. This guitar must have really played horribly when it was new. And I've routed the bridge slot the same depth as the original bridge. So we have to take this much off the saddle to make the height right. So let's get it on. Alright, well that's a lot better. So now we actually have the same situation with holding the strings down to first fret. We now have 5/64 on the bass side and 3 on the treble. That's where I want it. We've still got plenty of bridge height back here on the saddle. So I'm going to leave this strung up over the weekend. Let the top settle some more because it's not had any tension on it since it's had the new bridge plate put in it and all that. It's probably not been strung up for quite a while anyway. Let the top deflect a little bit, see what's going to happen there. And then we'll finish up the action. It looks like the G string may be slightly low in the nut. I may have to take the nut off and shim it. We're trying to keep as much stuff original here as possible. I'd like to get a few thousandths of height on that one. Like I said, we're going to leave this over the weekend, let it settle in some, and then we'll finish our action, height, all that, finish the bridge finishing. Cut my little string ramps there for the strings coming out of the bridge pin holes so it doesn't chip. And we'll be getting this one pretty near completion. Well, we're back in the shop after the weekend here. I've trimmed up my bridge saddle just a little bit more, and I've filed, see if you can see them here, a little string ramps into the bridge pin holes. Those are very important to keep the string from chipping out the wood around the bridge pin hole. We want a nice smooth exit up to the bridge saddle. We have shimmed and filed the other slots in the original nut. The G string was a bit too low. The rest of them were too high, so we had to shim it up a little bit and then recut all of them. The last major thing I plan to do is someone has been very rough with a peg winder up here on the base side of this headstock. The treble side's fine. I'm going to brush a little bit of lacquer retarder into that to melt that back together to keep it from chipping. This guitar has had kind of a rough life. There's a lot of heavy pick damage, chips, bangs, dings, all over it. That's dirt. Actually, that's probably, hang on, that may be, hang on, nope, that's dirt. I thought it may have been bone dust. Anyway, or saddle dust from my car to saddle. The neck, let's flip this over here real quick. Neck's got a pretty good little wear spot right here. I'm going to say it's had a little bit of abuse. Of course, back here's where the back was smashed. So we're finishing up here. We're going to get a couple more coats to finish on this bridge today. Get that retarder brushed on, and we're going to set this aside. We're going to get this little guy finished up in a day or two. All right. After roughly 9.5 hours hands-on time on this, we have our little LG 0 finished. So let's recap here. We had to replace the large bridge plate underneath the top. We had to hand make a bridge for it. And we used his original micarta saddle. We move up to this end. We managed to salvage his original nut by shimming it a little bit on the treble side and recutting the rest of the slots. We had to do some fret work. We had to unstick the truss rod nut. It was frozen. Had to reset a lot of frets here. This had some really bad fret issues going on. So we leveled those. Let's flip it over. We had to fix it back here where it had been mashed. Yeah, there's a scar, but hey, best I could do. Had to actually also reglue the back here around this edge where it was loose. Give the guitar a thorough cleaning. And so there it is, all complete. I'm going to call the owner. He's been anxiously awaiting its completion. So I'm sure he'll be thrilled to get his hands on it. So until next time, play nice